I bought her as the Ross Resolution in 1978 and renamed her Debut. Debut had been selected as a replica of the Rainbow Warrior by the British film company, Phillips and Woodhouse Productions. After taking more than a year to get the script together and arrange finance for the movie, Debut was overstayed in Australian territory waters. I was given 30 days by the Australian Customs Service to remove her from Australia, or face having Debut confiscated unless full Australian import duty was paid. On contacting the Maritime General's office in Canberra, I was notified that I could anchor Debut in international water within the Great Barrier Reef, 25 miles east of Bloomfield. After giving birth to our son Robbie, at Cairns Base Hospital, my partner Mariana returned to the ship. Only a week after Mariana's return, a vicious tropical line squall hit Debut at dusk and broke her 1.25-inch stud-link anchor chain. Mariana and I were shipwrecked on Emily Reef with our 3-month-old son, Robbie. I'd been unable to start the main engine as I'd run out of air, with the wiring of the main compressor faulty. It was better to let Debut work her way through the reefs, as she was completely surrounded by them, rather than risk damaging her propeller, especially as visibility was down to less than 30 feet, but she fetched up on Emily Reef at 0300 hours in the morning. With the wind at 25 to 30 knots from the southeast, and 15-foot waves pounding her stern, Debut was driven right up onto the coral reef. After recovering 300 feet of her anchor chain, I set her 1-ton port anchor into the reef, using a pontoon made out of 200-liter oil barrels. Using her anchor windlass and the pounding of the waves astern, after pumping out all of her freshwater and ballast tanks, I winched her up onto the reef and secured her with more anchors to keep her safe. Despite drawing 18 feet aft and 12 feet forward, she used her keel and bilge keels to gouge a trench into the coral at high tide. Debut was as yet undamaged, but there was no chance to get her off the reef with the continuous pounding of the winter storms. One following after another, I flooded her down by pumping 800 tons of seawater into the hold to keep her secure on the reef. There was no land or fresh water, but it rained almost every day, which was collected in a 2-ton-day tank on deck to settle before being pumped into the 2-shaft tunnel tanks at the stern, holding 17 tons between them. We always carried a large stock of foodstuffs on board. There was a 16-cubic-foot freezer filled with sacks of rice, and I'd loaded half a ton of sugar before leaving Cairns to make my home brew beer, and what a wonderful drop it was. There was plenty of fresh fish each day, and with an unlimited stock of rice, we could survive. After a year, with no food on board suitable to wean a baby, I arranged a lift for Mariana and baby Robbie to Australia on a local fishing boat en route to Western Samoa in the South Seas. After selling off all the artifacts that I could from the ship, I was able to fly to Western Samoa to collect Mariana and our 2 children and then fly them onwards to England.